Royalty in disguise. Put your fist up in the skies. Royalty in disguise. Put your fist up in the skies. Don't even trip.
Greetings, I'm Khamsin the Oracle. I am the founder of New Verse Live, and I want to share with you a simple technique that you can use to make stronger connections with your spirit guides or ancestors or our divine self. So in the summer of 2019, I was walking through the park and I had this strong compulsion inside of me to connect with Isis. And as I'm walking through the park, I'm singing and I am just calling forth her energy of rebirth. I was going through some times in my life where I knew the version of me that I had been up to that point wasn't going to be the version of me that was going to attract the life I was desiring. As I was calling for her, I remember thinking to myself, well, seems it would be beneficial for me to create a sigil, which is the combination of symbols, letters, and numbers connected together with my name as well. And so this is me using the ability to write, to create, using words and visualization. And I created the sigil and I put it under my pillow. I used my tarot card deck. So that's the first step. The second step, take your tarot card deck, whatever deck you're working with. For me, I was working with the Isis Oracle deck. Such a powerful deck that is so simple. It's small. You can keep it with you and take it anywhere. I love that about the deck. And so I pulled a card after the walk. I took that card and I placed it under my pillow. I connected with my dream catcher, spoke my intentions the exact same way you would program a crystal. You program your dream catcher. I programmed my dream catcher with the intention, and I also use a quartz crystal, which is a general crystal, can be used for many different purposes. And I cleansed that crystal, programmed that crystal, and created a grid with the quartz crystal and the amethyst I meditate with. And I also placed that in a mojo bag under my pillow. Before I fell asleep, I expressed my deepest, most sentiment feelings to Isis. And I called on her to assist me with transmuting some of the trauma that I was having a difficult time processing. And a lot of that trauma is related to not being able to say no to people. This was something that has been a struggle for me because my no wasn't honored or respected. It wasn't respected growing up in certain cultures, right? So specifically my culture, growing up in the African American community, Hispanic community, it was a mixture, but mostly minority. Throughout certain phases of my life, the no wasn't honored. If a boy wanted to grab my ass and I'm like, no, or touch my titty and I'm like, no, don't do that, they would do it anyway. These were some of the experiences that I had growing up. And because I had been molested and sexually abused and raped, I felt like I wasn't worth anything. I felt like that decreased my value. So saying yes was a way to seem like I had value in the eyes of others. And if I'm always saying yes to you or whoever I'm dealing with, if I'm saying yes to them, then they will hopefully see me as an asset and someone that they want to keep in their lives and not discard. Well, unfortunately, because I had not worked through some of these traumas, I was attracting partners who had the same imprint as the environment that created my insecure love attachments in my childhood. So I attracted the people who had extreme traumatic experiences, one after the other, oftentimes trauma with their parent or their mother or, father or their guardian, and people who develop these either superiority or inferiority complexes. So they would vacillate between being a victim who needed to be rescued, which I was happy to feel. That's my inner child wound archetype. If you don't know yours, that quiz is available in the chakra camps for inner child healing, and that course is on the website. So, taking the course, it did give me clarity. As I created the course, I went through the course and I used it myself, and I began to see connections to why I attract certain types of people into my life. So I was speaking with Isis about this and asking her to help me while I'm sleeping, because the time that it takes to self-reflect and work through things, sometimes I don't have it. So this is something that really speeds up the ascension process that you are going through right now. And so, of course, when we're sleeping, the ego is TK'd. The ego is in a total nap out, in a knapsack. So it's less resistance, it's less interference. One teacher that I love to listen to about being able to be more positive and magnetically attract positive experiences is Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks speaks about the vortex, and it is an accumulation of vibrations and beliefs, and that's what controls what we attract in our lives. And if you find yourself in a vortex of energy that's attracting things you no longer desire to be in your life, sleeping is one way that you can slow down the resistance, slow down the energy and the beliefs that you may be transmitting with whatever you're experiencing. And so sleep, naps, meditation, these things alter the brainwave frequency, so we can do more healing within this frequency. So that night, once I completed those 3 simple steps, which was connecting with her from my heart, pulling a tarot card to do the divination on the process, which bypasses my theories, assumptions, and beliefs, because oftentimes what we think, feel, and believe is being filtered by our unprocessed trauma, and this is subconscious, unconscious. So you're not going to know that you're doing this most of the time unless you have practiced a lot of self-awareness, self-realization, and you have a system every day of self-introspection with non-judgment. This is ultimately the way to peer deeper into the being of who you are. And so, before I would try to work all of this out in my conscious mind throughout the day, and it was overwhelming me. And since I'm highly empathic and I have a tendency to absorb others' feelings and beliefs and unprocessed pain, it's more difficult for me to work on myself during the day. Being a recovering codependent, I want to make sure that everybody in my life is feeling loved and cared about, even at the expense of my own well-being. These are the shadow aspects of growing up and not having your no honored, or not having someone to teach you the power of no and that it's okay. I didn't feel comfortable saying no to my mother because I knew that she had been through traumatic experiences. I could see the way it affected her, and I wanted to make things better. Every day of my life was spent ruminating on how to make the quality of life better for the people in my life, and I wasn't adapted to asking that question about myself. So as I'm working through these things, there are many ways to work through these things. But for me, working on the energetic vibrational patterns and working with divination, which allows me to gather information and enlightenment that is above the perspective of where I am right now, this allows a stronger spiritual connection to receive information that may be blocked by certain beliefs and perceptions, and even other people's expectations, that sometimes we feel pressured and we just have to show up. We have to say yes. This is something that, as a black woman in America, this was ingrained in me. My source of safety was securing others around me, emotionally regulating them, being an emotional doormat, and not really knowing how to assert myself to get my needs met. So my womb space throughout that trauma had been used like a dumpster. And, I didn't know how to honor my womb space. So I attracted people who also did not know how to honor my womb space. Well, the womb space of a woman is a reservoir. Not only holds babies and life and potential babies in the forms of eggs, but it also holds potential in things that we birth and create. And just like a reservoir in your vehicle that holds the water and the Freon for your vehicle, or the oil, the transmission fluid, those reservoirs are there, so that you have some left over when it gets low. And it's like a security measure. But this security measure within a lot of women has been weaponized, and so many black women die and have very difficult pregnancies. And the rates that we have, these complications during hospitalizations and having our children, that there is a spiritual implication there. And it's so important for us to tune into our womb space and see, what pain am I holding and carrying that is affecting what I create and attract. So that was my way of expressing my heart and my experiences to her. Your words and way may be different, and that's okay. Whatever it is, use what works for you. And if you don't know what works, or if you're open to trying something new to get a different outcome, I definitely recommend you try this out. Once I was done doing that, be sure to release pressure from yourself. As you're falling asleep and relaxing, we have meditations here on the channel that you can use to help you to relax. As you're relaxing, hold the intention, but release the outcome, because you have no idea how expansive of a being you really are, and the potential outcomes oftentimes are outside of our peripheral vision. If it's not right in front of us, a lot of times we miss it. If it's subtle and the voice and guidance is subtle, the noisiness of the mind in our life, we will miss it. And so you're able to have clear communication during your sleep. So as you're falling asleep, relaxing is the biggest part of astral travel, lucid dreams, and being able to have these effective meditation techniques. So as you're doing this, open your heart to receive whatever it is without judging it, because if you already have preconceived notions about the answer you think you're going to receive, or if you think that you aren't capable of receiving an answer that would be helpful for you, in those cases, you want to make sure that you are clearing out some of that energy with some breath work. So you just want to breathe through that. You want to breathe through the fact that sometimes I do have a difficult time accepting the information that is being given to me for whatever reason. So, this is a mindfulness practice, and you're creating more bridges of consciousness between you and the spirit realm and your I divine self, aka the higher self. Okay. Once you've done that and you fall asleep, be sure to have a journal. So as soon as you wake up, start recalling the feeling. This is one of the tips that I'm going to be teaching in the masterclass for lucid dreaming and healing while you are sleeping. So what you want to do is recall the feeling. If you cannot recall any visuals or any conversation or sound, just the feeling. So for me this day, I did this 2 nights before I received what I feel was an answer. Sometimes it has taken 2 weeks. the amount of energy and time you're willing to invest in opening to receive the information you're asking for, if you don't limit the time and give it some type of deadline, it may not even be realistic or helpful. You also close down the communication. So, open up to being willing that I'm going to do this no matter how many times I have to do this. I'm going to do this. This is important to me. I am important to me. And I'm learning how to treat myself with more worth. And if it takes 2 days, 2 hours, or 2 months, or 2 years, that's okay. I'm worth the wait. I will wait to receive the answer. That's the mindset that you go into. And this is a 5th dimensional mindset. This is a mindset where you're releasing what you think you know. You're releasing the time constraints. You're stepping outside of the 1260 time space frequency that has been used to enslave us on a prison planet with forced reincarnations. Without knowledge of previous incarnations. Some of us are reclaiming some of that knowledge now, thanks to the age of Aquarius and awakening. But by doing this, you clear out some of the blockages and the pressure. After 2 nights of doing this, I dreamed that I was being escorted into a Zen garden, walking over a small bridge. And there was this voice guiding me. I couldn't see anything. When I finally got over the bridge and looked up, I saw the most beautiful, radiant, brown skin just glistening in the sunlight. Like dew had just recently been sprinkled all over her, just glowing. And she called me by name. And I knew in that moment, this is the solution that I asked for. She said, Khamsin, thank you for being open to receive my guidance. I'm here to help you. She took my hand and we walked. She had a beautiful white snake around her neck. And I was just hypnotized by the visuals. And it was so much serenity and beauty. Lotus flowers in the pond beside where we were walking. We walked through this beautiful garden with flowers that I have never seen on this planet to date. And beautiful crystal rocks, huge crystal rocks everywhere. I could hear birds singing. I saw butterflies and dragonflies. I mean, it was just something out of a dream. Literally, in the dream. I woke up in the dream to experience a dream. And we all have this ability. It just takes activation and certain tools to be able to use this ability to help you. So as we are walking along, I'm nervous, and here comes some of the poverty contracts that were created in this incarnation. And I started thinking to myself, how much is this going to cost? And I may not have enough money to cover it. She could feel that coming from me. She smiled at me and said to me, you don't have to worry about that here. This is not the 3D world where things work that way. So we stepped into this dome-shaped building, and the same black woman with this cute Halle Berry cut hair, sitting at a computer, looking like just a sexy librarian, right? And she smiles at me and says, oh, Khamsin, you made it. And I'm like, yes, I made it. I'm surprised that I made it. And she's like, well, you were consistent, and you released judgment, and you were open to being led, and that's why you made it. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. And so she says to me, we're going to start working on you in just a moment. I need to pull you up in the system. So as she's pulling me up in the system, I'm thinking to myself, oh goodness, like I don't have any money with me. I don't have a credit card or nothing. How am I going to afford this? And she looks at me and says to me, is this you? And she points to my name on the computer. And beside my name was so many people that I have inspired or was there for in a difficult time, or encouraged to try something new, start a business, heal a relationship, begin working on their own spiritual awakening journey and womb trauma, self-realizations. I mean, each thing that I had helped someone with was listed under my name. And I remember looking at it and thinking to myself, there's no way I did all of that. And she was like, you have committed to helping others consistently. Yes, you did all of this. Can you receive that, own that, and accept that? And it took me a moment, and I was like, I do. I receive that. I accept that. Thank you for bringing that to my awareness. I acknowledge that my worth is not just based on monetary, it's based on the energy that I have shared with others and the energy others have felt safe to share with me. And she smiled at me, and it was that kind of smile like, you go, girl, you already know this is what it is. You got this, see? So I felt so encouraged in that moment. After that, we went through some womb healing, some de-armoring of some of the traumas that I absorbed and have been holding on to in my unconsciousness, subconscious mind. And I'm not going to get into that now because this turned out to be a course of dreams occurring throughout every year since 2017, 2018. So I'm creating this in 2023, okay? So this turned into a journey within my dreams, and I revisit when necessary, when needed. And sometimes I don't use the 3 steps I shared with you because I've opened up that channel of communication. The bridge that I was crossing represents consciousness. It represents a path over something, right? Because if there's water there and you can't get through it, you need another way to go over it. That's taking a higher road, being led over from one space into another, from 3D space, crossing over 4th dimensional space into 5D, from earth, crossing over into creating your own heaven on earth, represented by the Zen garden, a place of serenity. And in the 3D Matrix Detox course, I teach about creating your own serenity, your own inner sanctuary, which was also taught to me by one of my Star Tribe ancestors, Elua. He taught that to me in 2016, and all of this is on the YouTube channel and the website. So you can go and just watch about dreams, visions, lucid dreams, astral travels, remote viewing, quantum timeline jumping, which is also taught in the courses and on Patreon. You won't find those anywhere else. And for those who have used them, check out the testimonials. Everybody that uses them has some type of experience. And that has nothing to do with how good we are at something. This is something that's inside of each soul on this planet. We have capabilities that we are just now scraping the surface of. Trust and believe it. So after that, I began putting together the courses in this masterclass coming up and the previous masterclasses, which are also all on Patreon. Y'all, if you want to be a part of the tribe and community, and if you want to support what we're doing while you're supporting your own spiritual awakening, Patreon holds the vault of all of that content, including a lot of banned and censored content as well. So that will get you started, get you going, and get you into a space of creating your own sacred rituals, which is the purpose. My purpose is not to tell anybody how to walk their spiritual journey, but to share minds and the techniques that I share with my clients with you. Because the more we are connecting to this consciousness collectively, the Aquarius energy is going to support us in collective healing and transmuting these ancient traumas that are showing up in us, because we're the ones chosen in this lifetime with a soul contract to become aware of these things. And that's uncomfortable, because we may become aware of things that have been rooted in our bloodline for eons. Okay? So don't let the uncomfortableness of any of that send a message that this is not for you. Okay? Oftentimes when something feels uncomfortable, it's because you're growing and expanding in that moment. And growing pains are uncomfortable, but aren't you glad you went through your growing pains? That's not just physical and hormones and puberty. That's spiritual as well. And there are cycles of the spiritual awakening. Knowing these cycles, knowing certain things about yourself and how to use these tools will ultimately level up your journey in ways that I can't even find words right now to explain to you. Now, with the symbolism from the dream, the woman who was sitting at this quantum computer with access to every deed, done and undone, thought and not thought, across multiple dimensions, that was a representation of the Akashic record. The energy of Akash is a very feminine energy. Feminine energy is the symbolic nature of the subconscious, unconscious mind. Feminine energy is also very much connected to lunar energy, which is the emotions. And this feminine being sitting here able to point out to me things that I've done that I forgot about, because sometimes remembering the negative effects you've had on other people, because we have practiced this so much as a form of avoiding stepping on people's toes, upsetting people, rocking the boat, all of that, like we lose focus of the beautiful things that we have done as well very easily. Retaining the negative things is just a part of being on earth. This is a school. Training your mind to shift focus and pivot to the positive. Now that PRP, positive reframe practice right there, opens up potentials right in front of you that you did not see before. And so she was showing me not only what I had done, because time is not a linear thing. It's not even a real thing. Time is a measure that we use for our evolution. But time is very cyclical. It's a spiral. It's radial. So this was also containing things that I had not done at that point, but I'm on the trajectory of accomplishing. How profound is that? Now, when you begin receiving this information, you are expanding and connecting with different versions of you in alternate timelines. And this is gathering those remnants of yourself, reclaiming the parts of the soul. This is the soul reconciliation that you are calling back to you. And so that's also in the course, and it takes about 13 days to ask the correct questions to get guidance. So I know I keep mentioning the course and Patreon, but it's because that is so effective in my life. It has been in many others. So that is for a lifetime. Once you join these courses, it is our goal to keep this available for a lifetime at the price it is right now. So check that out if you want to get in there before the price goes up, because it definitely will, because I am adding things to these courses as I go. So when I discover a new breakthrough, a new way of accessing a miracle, I add that to the course. A new teacher, a new spirit guide, a new ascended master may come to me, and we have a meeting. I take notes from my dreams and I add those to the course. So this course is a course that is ever expanding, and that's why the price it is at now is going to change very soon. So after April 24th, I will be taking a break, a much needed break for myself. So go ahead and check out the website and what's there for you before that time period comes, because I am not going to be posting as much. So this is a great time for you to get in there now. And of course, you're going to be supported. And there are other people working through this with you that you can also reach out to for support. Y'all can communicate with each other. It's like a private Instagram or Facebook account. And you're added to that automatically by becoming a member of the website and getting into specific groups that are attached to each course and event. And we have discussions there. We share reels. You can share videos, links. I mean, it is unlimited what you can do. And, you know, the domain and everything that we have is there because we crave connection and community. And a lot of us are experiencing loneliness, sadness, and grief. And we're not sure who we can talk to about it. And a lot of us have purged people from our lives. And maybe the people you used to talk to about things is not resonating anymore, which is what happens when the two earths split. We're on two different earths now. So there are people who were once in our lives in a certain role that aren't anymore. And as we're scripting new verses to live the cipher of life our soul came to live, singing a new song, not one of victimization and trauma, but one of empowerment and transcendental connection to the deeper parts of your authentic self. That right there is priceless. So take advantage of that. Now, I am going to be sure to put all of the links for you in the description. I'm excited to be able to do this masterclass coming up on April the 20th, 2023, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is going down. And you know what? Just because I know how much power we hold within this realm, let's go ahead and manifest together. We're going to mark this down right now. Because what's happening with the economic reset has affected some of us in many different ways. And I do not want finances right now to be a reason anyone does not show up for this masterclass. So this is a way of me honoring the Atmakarika, which is my soul planet, Saturn, in charity and giving and helping other people, detaching from the monetary value of it for a moment, because of course we have essential needs and resources, and right now having money is how we make that happen. However, many of us are feeling the Aquarian energy. We're ready to release poverty contracts. We're ready to shift our relationship with our money, the way we make money, use, and spend money. So this is an invitation for you to also recreate your relationship with abundance. So even though I'm marking this down to make it accessible for as many people as possible, you're connecting with a frequency of prosperity simply by investing in yourself. So the course is going to be marked down. I'm going to send an email out. You're going to sign up for the emails if you are not on the list yet to receive our emails. Sign up for the SMS messages as well if you are not on that list. That's how you're going to get this huge discount. And this discount is going to be available up until 2 days before the event. So from today until the 18th, which is a 3-day sale, you will be able to access this. Now, this is Ernest's birthday, solar return month. So this is a gift from us to you. What better way to move things forward in an energy of unity instead of polarity, division, and separation? Because that's why a lot of us are feeling down and not feeling fully supported. You are supported. You got this. We got this. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this full video. And be sure to check all links below If you want to get started with Patreon, you can. And be sure to check your email because you do not want to miss out on this special 3-day offer. Maine, your third eye has just been kissed. Namaste. New me. Stay. One love. Ashe.
Royalty in disguise. Put your fist up and